Well, this is Sky News. You're watching the press preview. In the next half hour, we'll be seeing what's making the newspaper headlines with tonight the editor of The Independent, Amol, Rajan, and the journalist and broadcaster Jonathan Maitland. Welcome and good to see both of you.
Good to see you.
So let's take a look at the front pages then, first of all. The Financial Times reports that the cash cost of the controversial High-Speed 2 rail line has escalated to £73 billion. So let's get the thoughts then of Jonathan Maitland and Amol Rajan. And in fact, you've decided to go on the Financial Times to start with, and more reports about the escalating cost of High-Speed 2.
Yeah, I mean, the FT has taken a consistently sceptical line about high-speed rail. The narrative of this story is that the estimated cost of HS2, which is, of course, this extension of high-speed rail from London to Birmingham and beyond, is going up and up and up. And the original government measure was 30 billion. We had the Institute of Economic Affairs earlier this week saying it could be actually up to 80 billion. And the FT's got a very strong line from Treasury officials, which is suggesting that inside Whitehall they're using a figure of 73 billion. So the issue here is partly just, how do you afford something like this in a time of austerity? But there's also, as Jonathan and I were discussing, an incredibly interesting political angle to this, which is that HS2 goes right through the Tory shires, which the Conservatives need at the next election, and which UKIP are vigorously targeting as potential seats.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see the odds on whether there'll be a U-turn on this, because there have been so many U-turns on other government policies. And I wonder if the most elegant way to achieve a U-turn, which looks like it might be hoving into view, is if the government commissioned an independent, inverted commas, study to see if it really would bring the benefits that people say it's going to bring. Because one of the big question marks is it's supposed to benefit Leeds, Birmingham and Manchester, but one suspects that if there's a high-speed rail link going between those three cities and London, the place that might benefit the most is London. And let's face it, London doesn't really need benefiting
It's
anymore.
interesting, isn't it? Despite this horrific figure for the Treasury, which would have to bankroll it, they say here George Osborne is committed to the 225-mile-an-hour rail link between the cities you've mentioned. He sees it as an emblem of the coalition's commitment to spread growth more evenly across the country.
There's two aspects of it. One is the rebalancing of Britain's economy away from London, and HS2 has been completely central to that. The other is the idea that, we are competing in this global race, which means we need transport that's fit for the 21st century, and a snazzy railway line would certainly fit with that. But I wonder at what point, what number would it take for the Treasury to say, actually, guys, we're scrimping on other government departments and this is unaffordable. I don't know if 100 billion would be it, but 73 billion certainly seems to me a terrifyingly big number.
Unaffordable too, the Daily Telegraph, is the problem with heart disease and